This may be hard to believe, but you're looking at the man who single-handedly was responsible for the creation of 125 of the world's most famous buildings, including the Leaning Tower of Pisa and the California missions at San Fernando and Santa Barbara. And what's even more amazing, these were, for the most part, the only tools he used.
So he used good cement, and he used bric-a-brac, marble, seashells, pieces of jewelry, things of that type. He had no inhibitions about using pieces of plumbing, for instance, like toilet bowl floats. It seemed he used quite a number of those in the domes of the churches.
I think a little explanation would be in order at this point. You see, Brother Joe, as he was known, was a Benedictine monk at St. Bernard Abbey in Cullman, Alabama. He was dedicated to a life of prayer, poverty, chastity, and a hobby of creating his buildings, the tallest of which stands just about 5 feet.
Brother Joseph, early in life, when he was about 25 years old, was put in charge of the monastery powerhouse. And the main job was to shovel coal into the furnaces. And in between keeping the gauges up and the steam up, he began to collect little items that the maintenance men used to throw away in the back of the powerhouse. So about 1910 or 12, he must have had maybe 15 or 20 little miniature buildings, 1 foot, 2 foot high, foot wide, mainly of the Jerusalem area, the Palestinian type of buildings, little small buildings where Christ was or the saints were.
In the 1910s and 20s, the buildings became popular. Too popular, it seems.
The monastery abbot at that time got upset and said, "Brother Joe, there's too many people coming to see your little buildings in the backyard there. Last Sunday there were 35 people here going through our privacy, and it's just not right. So don't build any more buildings."
The construction stopped, for a time anyway. In 1932, 2 monks experienced in the business world saw the tourist value of Brother Joe's buildings and convinced the abbot to take the tiny creations from the monastery gardens and develop an old stone quarry some 2 blocks away.
And in the process, they put a large grotto in the middle of it. A grotto means a cave or recession in the hillside. So they built this one 27 feet high, 27 feet wide, and 27 feet in depth. Brother Joe then went to work decorating on both sides of this large grotto all his little buildings. So he began to move them over the hill in 1934. It was then established and opened and known as the Ave Maria Grotto. Now Ave means, it's the Latin word for hello, hail. Maria is a Latin word for Mary. We could have called it Hail Mary Grotto for anything, maybe even better. See the rosaries, the people saying Hail Mary, that's the word.
Brother Joe was born in Landshut, Bavaria in 1878 and baptized in this church, or should we say its model. From age 14 until his death in 1961 at 83, he was a resident of the monastery here in Alabama, where he could often be seen tending to his miniature city in his work clothes.
He just used photographs to make these buildings with, to get his designs and ideas. He never saw 95% of them. When he built the Pope's Cathedral, St. Peter's in Rome, he got a big picture of it, and it took him about 4 months to build it. He said he looked around and all he saw was a bird cage. So he decorated that bird cage with a little cement, little crosses, things like that. So the Pope's Church, the Cathedral of St. Peter's in Rome, started with a bird cage.
Joe created his last masterpiece when he was 80 years old. The Basilica of Lourdes was a fitting memorial to his life's work. To date, it's estimated that over 2 million people have marveled at Brother Joe's hobby.
And he'd be very happy to know that people are admiring it, and I'd say they're receiving inspiration for goodness of life, and that was what he wanted it for.